Hello everyone, I am Ajay, PGD Computer Science, and this is my YouTube channel. And in my first video I'll be discussing about the first unit of class 12 informatic practices for the session 2020-21, the Python Pandas, the introduction part only. And before we move on to the syllabus part, first let's see what the changes the CBSE has made this year to the syllabus. So let me show you the syllabus and what all units we have covered out of the given 4 units, right? So here is our syllabus for the session 2020-21. First unit is data handling using pandas and data visualization. This unit comprises of 30 marks in the theory out of 70, and this base unit is comprising of 3 chapters. The first one is data handling using pandas 1, which involves the introduction to the pandas libraries, that Python libraries, that is most popular Python library, that is pandas and matplotlib. The second one is data structure in the pandas, the series and the data frames. The third one is series creation from the various means by using n-dimensional array, from the dictionary, from scalar values, the various mathematical operations on the pandas series, the functions head and tail, selection, indexing, slicing, as we have already done the slicing in case of NumPy in class 11. Now the second important topic in this chapter is related to the data frames. Now this data frame, again creation of the data frame from the dictionary of the series, the list of dictionaries, the text, opening of text or the comma separated values file in the data frames, then its displaying of the screen, iteration, then operations on the rows and columns, because it is 2D type of the data structure. The various operations like add, select, delete, rename, head, tail functions, indexing using the labels, then boolean indexing, joining, merging, concatenation, then at the end importing and exporting data between the CSV files and the data frame files. This is regarding the first chapter in this unit. The second chapter will involve the statistical functions on the pandas, like max, min, count, standard deviation, variation. We have already covered standard deviation, variance in the class 11th NumPy, data frame operations, and sorting, deleting, renaming, etc. Then exporting and importing data between MySQL database and the pandas. And the last third chapter which is involved in this unit is data visualization, the purpose of plotting, drawing. This is basically related to the animation, the graphical portion, right? So these all the chapters that we are going to cover in the first unit. As far as the second unit is concerned, in the latest syllabus by the CBSE, it is database query using SQL. Earlier, previously it was only of 10 to 12 marks. Now the weightage has been increased and it is of 25 marks. We have already finished it last week. And the third one is introduction to computer network. Again we have completed this unit of 7 marks. Societal impacts of 8 marks. So out of 70 marks theory, we have already covered 40 marks. Just this 30 marks are remaining, then practical, and at the end we will be covering about the project work. So this is all about the syllabus. Not to worry, let's begin with our syllabus, that is the Python, introduction to the Python pandas. Now the Python pandas involves the 2 most popular libraries. Libraries are the set of the say these are inbuilt functions or the methods available in any of the programming language whenever we install them, and for the use of the programmers or the users, right? The pandas is one of the most preferred and widely used data science libraries nowadays. It is popular because of the reason that it is not only powerful, but at the same time it is very convenient and flexible. There is a lot of flexibility available whenever we are developing any kind of the program we can use with n number of the applications, right? Pandas stand for Python Data Analysis Library. Pandas is an open source, free to use under BSD license. BSD license means family of software licenses with minimum restrictions for the use and distribution. B stand for Berkeley, S stand for software, D stand for distribution. A Unix-like operating system for the distribution of these licenses. It is originally written by Wes McKinney, whereas the Matplotlib library is comprehensive library for creating static, animated and interactive visualization in the Python that we will use in the third chapter. Matplotlib library produces publications, quality figures in variety of hard copy formats and interactive environment across the platforms. Matplotlib library can be used in the Python scripts, the Python, the IPython shell, the web application servers and various other graphical user interface toolkits. Right. This is simply a introduction part of the what we are going to cover in this unit. Next comes Python Pandas. The easiest way to get the Pandas is to set up it, to install it through the package like Anaconda distribution, across platform distribution of the data analysis and scientific computing. In order to use the Pandas in your Python IDE, you might be using Jupyter Notebook, or you might be using, as we do in our lab, Spider. Both of them come with the Anaconda by default, so no need to import the Pandas library first, no need to install them separately. We will be just simply writing a line in on the top of our program, just we did for the NumPy, that is import NumPy as NP, so that nickname MP can be used, alias name MP can be used anywhere in the program. Similarly here also, whenever there is need to use it, we will simply write a statement import pandas as PD. So this is the line that you will be typing on the top. Now the pandas structure, data structures in the pandas, it deals with many data structures, but the most basic type of the data structures available with the pandas is the series and the data frame. Now a quick comparison between the two. Series data structure, it is one-dimensional data structure. That means linear type. One say index is required to represent element of that series. It is a homogeneous array, but the size is immutable. As you already know, the mutable and the term immutable, we can't change it later on and during the program. And data frame, it is two-dimensional, so we require two indexes, that is column and the row. It is the data which is represented in the row column format, grid of the row column, like a table, right? Whereas the size is mutable, potentially heterogeneous type columns. Heterogeneous type columns means are columns. There may be a column which contains the numeric type value, there may be another column which contains the textual type value, there may be another column that might contain a floating type value, boolean type value and so on. So इनके अंदर जो columns के values हैं वो different है, heterogeneous, एक जैसी value, सारे column एक जैसी value नहीं ले रहे हैं, हर एक column के अंदर different values हैं, right? So let's start with the series first. A series can be seen as a one-dimensional. As I already told you, it is a linear data structure of the pandas. The data structure can hold any data type at a time, including strings, integers, floats, or it may also contain Python objects like dictionary, etc. Are implicitly labeled with an index. What does it mean? Whenever we create them, the index is allotted to the each value automatically, implicitly and explicitly. These are the two terms that we use with the data and data types or data type conversions. Implicit mean automatically, explicit mean by the program. Okay. For example, we can have a series of integers, real numbers, characters, strings, dictionaries. We can conveniently manipulate these series, performing the operations like adding, deleting, ordering, that means sorting them, joining, filtering, vectorized operations. Vectorized operations we have done in the case of the NumPy, right? Then statistical analysis, then the plotting, etc. All these operations can be performed on these series. Now let's take on to the first topic, which is of practical importance: creating an empty Python pandas series. So before we fill with values, let's see how to create a series. What is the syntax for using this? So first line that we will open up the spider, and then in the editor window we will write down import pandas as pd. Then you can have any name for your series. I have taken it as s is equal to pd dot series. इसका फंक्शन यूज़ किया हमने, नेम यूज़ किया, निक नेम pandas का एज pd डॉट सीरीज फंक्शन है. उसके बाद उसको प्रिंट करना. Since I have not filled it with any value, I have not given it any value, so it will represent give me the output as empties, and data type by default will be floating type 64-bit. Right. Now in case you want to fill it with the values, you want to create a series with given set of the values, then the statement will change. This statement will be replaced with this s1 or s, whatever name you want to have, is equal to pd dot series. Then in the parenthesis we will use the square bracket to write down the series elements, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and so on. So this is what we are doing. We are creating a series of integers, right? So when we print this s1, the list will be generated like this. We have taken 7 elements, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. See, the indexing is given automatically, implicitly by the pandas. So 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 less than the required number at the end, right? Since we have taken the integers, so data type automatically changes to the integer. Then another program. So here I have written on the top the statement pandas as pd, and I have used another statement numpy as np. Wherever we will use this random function or so, we will be making use of numpy. So that's why I imported the another statement. Let's create empty. You already know. Then I created the series with given numbers, printed that. You have seen the output in the previous window here. Then the third method of creating series is by creating it with the help of given characters. Character values are being passed. pd dot series. Whenever you are passing the character values, single character values, you have to enclose them in the quotes. So with comma separation we have written the values, then print it. The third one, creating random Python panda series of floating numbers. For that, s3 is equal to series. You know how to create the random integer numbers. np.random this will not create a integer values, rather it will create a floating type values. And since we are using the function random rand n of 5, so it will create 5 random values between 0 and 1, not a particular range. By default it will give us the values between 0 and 1. Next one is within a certain range. If we want to generate 5 numbers, and that range will include 1 less than the value supplied here in the parameter size. It takes two parameters. First one, let's see the syntax first. pd dot series np.random dot rand int. Here I have written dot rand n. So going to create random numbers, floating numbers, whereas here I had mentioned rand int. So instead of floating numbers, it is going to give me the output as integers. How many? 5. Then I have taken the second parameter. Here only one parameter was supplied, so by default it has given me the output between the range 0 and 1, whereas here in this case the range will be 0 to 4, 1 less than the given value. So let's first have a practical aspect of this, and moving on to this. This is the program which I have made for you. You can see the first one, empty series, the second one with the given integer, third one with given character set, and the fourth one random rand n is used. So we will see how the output will be generated here. Then rand int is used with 2 parameters, 5 comma size is equal to 5. When the size is supplied as 5, the range becomes 0 to 4. Let's see the output once we run it. Okay, let me just wait for it. here is the output. The first one, this pd.series, empty, right? We have not given any value in the beginning here. The second one, you can see with the given set of values 1 to 7 to 1 to 7, indexing is done automatically. Then the third output with the given character set, again indexing. How many character sets are there? 5, A, B, C, D, E. So indexing will be 0 to 4. This is object, character set as a object is passed. Okay. Then next one, array and n. Array and n 5. So 5 random numbers will be generated, and it will involve the values between 0 and 1. It will not include 0 as well as 1, but it will include any random number. They may be repeated also between 0 and 1. So all the values between 0 and 1. Then the third one, array and int, 5 values between the range. I have already discussed the range will be 0 to 4, 1 less than the value given in the second parameter, that is size. Size is as 5, so random values are generated 2, 1, 2, 1, 0. As I already told you, the values may be repeated. So this is our first practical regarding the creation of the Panda series, right? So next we will see what is there for us to in the next one is importing the pandas as PD, creating series with the arbitrary list. Arbitrary list means you pass any type of the values. You have given first value as integer, second as a string, third as float, and fourth a large value, big integer. Okay. Then we have again given a string type value. So when we print it, it will print like this, and it will be taken as object, because we are not passing only the integers, we are not passing only the floating types, we are passing a heterogeneous type values. So whenever we are giving it heterogeneous values, the output will be as an object. We can also specify index when we need. Suppose you don't want the implicitly given index by the pandas to your values. You want your own index one. Here the index is automatically given with the numeric value 0 to 4. But I don't want this index to be given to my values. I want my own index value. So for that, we will include a second parameter in the above statement. Here we have written pd.series. In the parenthesis, first parameter in the square is the values with the comma separation. Here it closes. After this, before closing the parenthesis, we will put the comma and give the second parameter index. In the second parameter, what we will do, we will provide our index. Again it is of your choice. Numeric value देनी है तो बिना quotes के, कोई उसको character set देना है तो with quotes. And when we print it, it gives the designated index value to the series. Is it clear? So let's see it practically. See it here. This is the first statement, pandas as PD import statement. Then create a series with the arbitrary list. We created the series as we have seen in the slide show, and then printed the S. Once we print it, we will see the output. See, this is the output. 0 index, 7 value, 1, then hasn't worked, 2 के लिए floating type value की 3, then 4, and it is the object. Once we are say we are of view that we want to have our own index, then what we will do, we will provide the second parameter with the comma here, and before we close this parenthesis, index is given in the square bracket. So according to the values, first will be given the first index, second value will be given second index, third value will be given the third index, and so on. So once we print it, so this is how the output is generated. That's all for today. Hope you have understood this. I'll be sharing it with you. This is my first live this video recording, so I am keeping it short, and so that you will be able to view it properly. The main advantage of using these videos will be, you may watch it anytime, anywhere, 24/7, and you may do it with n number of revisions available, because the video will be available to you with the click of the link. So I will be providing you the link here, and whatever doubt is there, you may give me a message on my personal WhatsApp number. I'll be clearing and I'll be making the changes in my next video, right? Till then, enjoy. Hope all of you are fit and fine at your places. Be healthy, be safe. Thank you.